Giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power, Yahweh. Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, and wherever you may be, or wherever you may be, to you I say Shalom, Meshurah, Shalom. I want to play this little short video here. See, it's about 6 minutes long that I saw. Maybe bring a few random scriptures here based off this topic, but as we play the video, you will see exactly what's going. So at this point, I guess we could just push play. It says biggest concern is proximity, and clearly it's talking about a nuclear blast. The Trinity test, 20 kilotons. Zone 1 light blast damage. All right, you see the in that red range there. All right, outside of the red range, because inside of that you have a whitened range, because you see the blast in the middle, the mushroom cloud. Okay, and then that middle whited out portion, then you see that red zone there. So zone 1 light blast damage. Zone 1 light blast damage, not considering long-term effects. So what it's going into is what happens to the human body, okay, upon one of these bombs dropping. It says I think it says, I'm not sure if it's a 1 or an I, anyways, but PSI overpressure. So it says shock wave hit in 6 seconds. Okay, shock wave hit in 6 seconds, 56 kilometers an hour. Permanent blindness, burn retinas, which is what's causing the permanent blindness. Then it says thermal radiation pulse, second degree, temporary and some permanent hearing loss. Okay, temporary, permanent hearing loss. Okay, just like when you hear a gunshot, your ears ring, right? Well, not just a gunshot, but you know, when you're in close range, you know, that's why people wear the earmuffs when they go, you know, to a shooting range or just out shooting in general. Because if you're in close range to a gunshot, could be a pistol, could be a rifle, could be a shotgun or whatever, your ears are going to ring. Okay. There's the blast, and here's the effect. Think of the skin. It says zone 1 light blast damage. Okay, this is the same thing we just read. Permanent blindness by burned retinas, as it just showed you in the demonstration. Thermal radiation pulse, second degree burns, temporary and some permanent hearing loss. So it says in some, so not everybody's going to suffer permanent hearing loss, but some people will. But you know, zone 2, which is the inside. All right, zone 1 was the outer edge. Zone 2, we're getting closer. So where you see the red at, all right? That's what was shown in the first demonstration. All right, that red. Okay. So Trinity test, 20 kilotons. Zone 2, moderate blast damage. Okay. .5 psi overpressure, shock wave hit in 2.5 seconds. Okay. Thermal radiation pulse, 3rd degree burns, eardrum rupture, and then it says concussion. There's the blast. Body down. Check out the body. 3rd degree burns, eardrum rupture, and a concussion. And the body is more severely burned than the first time. Zone 3, heavy blast damage. This is right in the vicinity of the immediate contact of the blast. All right, and no, it's almost no closer you can get it, or just about as close as you can get. Zone 3, heavy blast damage, not considering long-term effects. 20 psi over pressure, shockwave hit in 1.5 seconds. Thermal radiation pulse, 4th degree burns. Brain, traumatic brain injury. Respiratory system, all right, a pneumothorax, collapsed lungs and bronchi, arterial gas embolism, or AGE. Right, yeah. So respiratory system, because your respiratory system really pretty much centered around your lungs and your heart. Okay, because you breathe in through your nose and so on and so forth. You got all the, you get it. All right. There's more. Hemorrhage, pulmonary contusion, hemoptysis, hemothorax, digestive tract, gastrointestinal hemorrhage. So also your insides, right? I like to say the inside out, right? Perforation, I can't really see it. Retroperitoneal hemorrhage, all right, and ruptured spleen and liver. Ooh. Catch that? The trees were on fire before the person was. The bushes. Look at the bushes. Away. And you gotta imagine, if there's buildings, that's rock, dust, debris, glass, other metals, other hard objects, marble, whatever, stone, whatever you could think of, building, cement, all these things are getting blown away in the blast, hitting people, not just with the heat wave and in the actual fire, but also debris also hitting people. The body. They balled him up and rolled him somewhere. Now, this is where the blast fell directly. Okay, it makes you think about what Joel 1 upon the rooftops and stuff. Matter of fact, we may get that. Zone 4, near proximity to fireball, basically where the actual missile dropped in first contact of the explosion, which is right on top of people's heads. Eat a missile, as the brothers would say. Zone 4, near proximity to fireball, thermal radiation pulse. Look, incineration. Body dismemberment by blast wave. Wow. And that's all it said. In other words, it said you through. You out of there. Spirit realm. Notice how he got lit on fire before the actual fire hit him, because that heat wave, just like Sarah Khan on the fence, the heat wave lit her on fire. The actual fire didn't even get to her yet, so they showed an accurate depiction of one of these, and Esau would know, wouldn't he? All right, where he dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, he would know. Okay, so that heat wave in a close proximity like that is what's going to set the body on fire before the actual fire really gets to it. Just the heat. It's like an oven. When you open the oven, that heat hit you. You ain't got to touch one of the oven racks or nothing like that. that heat gonna hit you. See? The heat's enough to set one ablaze. So that's why it says incineration. They don't need to go into all those other things. In this close proximity, spirit realm. All right, you through. Thermal radiation pulse, incineration, body dismemberment by blast wave. Might find you in little pieces. What basically what it's saying there. Check this out. Zone 5, reactive fireball. Zone 5, the fireball, which the scriptures describe as a mushroom cloud. Thermal radiation pulse, disintegration. Whew. Anything inside the fireball is effectively vaporized. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And this is what we don't want to be a part of. Lord willing, we check it out. Almost look like the sun for a second. Look at it. Look like the sun. Man, look at that thing. This is what the prophet saw, man. This is what the prophet saw. Mushroom clouds and people being incinerated, disintegrated, dismembered, whatever else you can think of in Babylon the Great. Because that's what that great destruction is going to take place. The lake of fire is talking about America on fire from the nukes from the other countries. Body. It says disintegrate because it's so hot. See? Thermal radiation pulse disintegration. Anything within that is out of there. Was your anger against the rivers? And that was that. See? Let's get it. Let's go and pull up a book. Hopefully I can get through this because I know we're going to start moving in a second. I think it's Revelation 8 or it's not 8 or 9. But I'm going to type it in so we can get right to it. 200. Hold on. That ain't it. This thing here. 100,000. It says 1,000, something like that. Revelation chapter 9. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. Okay, and what John the Revelator was saying here was the nuclear missiles. Okay, we gonna get right into it for time's sake. Joel chapter 1. All right. Sorry, not 1, but I meant to go to 2. Yeah, 2. Joel chapter 2. Joel chapter 2. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion and an alarm in my holy mountain. So the message is to the Israelites. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble. For the day of Yahweh cometh, for it is nigh at hand, it's close. A day of darkness and of gloominess. That's the Amos 5. The day of the Lord is darkness and not bright, no brightness in it. A day of clouds and of thick darkness. Why clouds and thick darkness? Because when the nukes hit, all right, they're going to see the mushroom cloud. All right. It says, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong, there had not been ever the like, neither shall there be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. There's never going to be a destruction like this ever again. A fire, it goes right into it. After it says that, it tells you exactly what destruction is all about. A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. Okay, because it's talking about the missiles, which are rocket propelled. Okay, and then they come over here And then they set a bigger fire, a bigger explosion. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yeah, and nothing shall escape them. Okay? And then that's what's going to happen. It says America is going to be wholly desolate. I believe it's inside Isaiah 13 or 34. I think it's 13. Well, it shall be wholly desolate. Okay? Meaning the whole entire land mass of North America. All right? The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. Is this not what John the Revelator was talking about? See how the prophets saw the same thing, and they only knew how to explain it with the limited vocabulary they had back then, in their own words, which is why you may hear the prophets say a different thing, but they're still talking about the same exact thing, the same topic. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses and horsemen, so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like in those different zones. Like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. So it's not talking about people fighting. It's just giving you a likeness, but really it's talking about the missiles. Before their face the people shall be much pained, and all faces shall gather blackness. Yeah, because if there is a siren going off, or if there is something playing on the news or the radio, however it's going to do, even if there is a warning, people are going to be terrified because there's nowhere to go. Okay, very few people have these bunkers and stuff like that. Some people might have a basement. It's not going to help. They go down because have some people have like you see in these scary movies, these ghost movies. They always have an outside. They have a basement, but it's be from the outside. So people might try to run in there. It's not going to help. Okay. If anything, everything above is probably going to crumble on you. And if it doesn't, all right, you may just get sealed on the ground and not have a way out. You're going to be destroyed either way. One way or another, you're going to be destroyed by the fire or by something like we talked about in the video. It's not just going to be that heat wave and then the blast of fire. You also have to understand there's material things here, buildings, light poles and structures and fixtures, cars, all these different things, which certain things are going to cause more explosions, like cars and gas lines and other things of that nature. Okay. So all these different things, and so like I said, you're going to have cement flying, bricks flying, okay, metals flying, sharp ones, and hard boulders and things like that nature. All different types of debris. Okay, there's no surviving this. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war, and they shall march everyone on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. See, because the Spirit of the Lord is going to be guiding these missiles. Okay. It says neither shall one thrust another, so they're not going to bump into each other, explode midair. They're not going to fall short into the ocean. They're not going to overpass their mark, and they go all the way. One's head towards California or the state of Washington, and then overshot and went into the ocean. No, all right, they're all going to hit their exact target. They shall walk everyone on his path, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. See. Because these are talking about fire, missiles. Okay, nothing's gonna hurt the fire. All right. If anything, fire melts. All right, because it's a cleansing agent. So you can't, it's not going to be hurt by anything. It's going to do the hurting. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses, and they shall enter in at the windows like a thief, like we talked about in the video. Those blast radius, and at the closest proximities, that's right on top of people's heads. But that's going to be a lot of people, because you have to understand, as we read the first scripture, 200,000. So there's not going to be a spot that's going to be missed. It's not going to be a state or a city or a countryside that's going to be missed by these nuclear missiles when they fly. The earth shall quake before them, the heavens shall tremble, the sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. See, because when that mushroom cloud goes up, that's all you're going to see is the mushroom cloud and whatever else clouds is up there, which a lot of them are going to get sucked into the mushroom cloud. Okay, that's all you're going to see is that big cloud of destruction. And you got to understand, we were watching the video about a mushroom cloud destruction. You got to understand, there's going to be 200,000 missiles that hit every part of America. The whole entire map of America is going to go up as a whole mushroom cloud. So from east to west, north to south, is going to be a big funnel of a mushroom cloud. All all right, which is going to be able to be seen from out in space. And if we're of that number, like it says in Revelation 15, we're going to watch it. I saw a sea of glass mingled with fire. We're going to watch it. It's going to be seen from space. It says, and Yahweh shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. For he is strong that executed his word. For the day of Yahweh is great and very terrible, and who can abide it? No one's going to abide it except for the hopeful elect remnant. They're the only ones who are going to make it past and through, all right, that great destruction. Okay, give me 2 moments here. Says therefore also, well, actually we read enough on that. Let me get, I don't even know. I was going to get, maybe I'll get that another time. I'll get this instead of thinking too hard about it. We'll get this and we'll close it off. Excuse me. 2 Peter 3. It says the coming day of the Lord, right? Once again, quoting that Amos. And yeah, I'm gonna just get right in this window here, because I'm probably gonna read down to all of this. So I want to grab, let's start at 8. 2 Peter 3 and 8. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. Okay, because the Lord is not inside time like we are. All right, and that's why, you know, he's patient, because what seems like days to us is, you know, a couple or several thousand years. I mean, what seems like days to him is a couple or several thousand years to us. All right, he's not confined to time in the way that we're confined to. He's not confined to time at all, but the way, you know, perception of time is to him versus us, all right, extremely different. Okay, Yahweh is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. That's the Israelites, and only the remnant are going to do so. Verse 10 says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with the great noise. Like we just mentioned, if there is a siren or some kind of radio or television, that comes on and lets people know, it's going to be all faces turned to paleness and blackness, because they're going to hear about missiles coming and there's nothing they can do. There's nowhere they can run. They're not about to jump a plane, out of here. They're not going to just jump a train to get to the other side of the country or nothing like that, because all the country's going to get hit. Okay, you're not going to go with them. Some of them might try to get on their boats or whatever. They're going to get hit in the blast, because you got to think about how big the blast is. They ain't going to get but so far in the ocean before that blast comes to get them. Okay, if anyone tries to jump on their boats or whatever, and even they get far enough that the blast don't hit them, well, there's two things that come up. Well, where were you going? you gonna go all the way across the ocean on a little boat? Your gas is gonna run out. That's not an option. But then also, what's gonna happen is that wave is gonna hit. They probably get drowned in the tsunami wave. So however it happens, you will not escape. And even the scriptures talk about that the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard. There is nowhere that you can run to and hide to on the earth when these missiles hit. You have to be in Yahweh Shai's chariot. And if you're not an Israelite of the remnant, you won't be in that chariot. You won't escape the destruction. It says the heavens shall pass away with the great noise. That's the boom, 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 boom. The missiles. And the elements shall melt with fervent heat. That's the mushroom cloud and the fires. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. See, everything's hit by the fire. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons are ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness, and looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day of the highest? Because this is what we hope for: destruction of a Babylon the great. Rejoice, ye holy apostles and prophets, for the Lord hath avenged you on her. Okay, Ecclesiasticus, he that liveth to see the downfall of his enemy. All right, and probably other scriptures too, but you get the point. Okay, so it says wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Okay, a destruction that will not be escaped unless you're on the Lord's chariot. Point blank, period. All right. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness. All right. But the main point of this was that, the fireball, the destruction, and the heat wave, and then the fire, and so on and so forth. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna end it there because I might have to pay attention to what I'm about to do here. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Lord willing, you will edify to next time. That's what I'm gonna say. Shalom.